The Indian Navy is set to hold its first ever military drills with the Philippines starting on the 3rd of August. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi is set to host Philippines President Marcos Jr. for a bilateral summit from the 4th of August. But guess what? The first ever India-Manila bilateral maritime cooperative activity is being held near the hotly contested Scarborough Shoal. This will surely alarm the CCP. Even the Global Times, the CCP mouthpiece, has reacted to the India-Manila military exercises with a special mention of the ship-killer Indian Brahmos missile. Song Zongping, a Chinese military expert, was quoted by the Global Times saying, "From a military standpoint, if India truly attends exercises off the Philippines coast, its real purpose may be to showcase its naval prowess and seize the opportunity to market and export its weapon systems, most notably the Brahmos missile, to Manila." Unquote. Brahmos is the same missile that the Indian Air Force used to destroy over 10 Pakistani air bases in the recent war. Now, the Scarborough Shoal is also claimed by China, even though it falls inside the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone, and this region has witnessed multiple flashes. But now the PLAN will witness multiple Indian Navy warships sailing side by side with their Filipino counterparts. Is this Modi's subtle warning to China for arming Pakistan against India? Two can play this game. Earlier this month, 4 Indian warships made a port visit to Manila. The list includes guided missile destroyer INS Mysore, anti-submarine warfare corvette INS Kiltan, the survey ship INS Sandhayak, along with INS Shakti fleet support tanker. Has India now openly joined the ASEAN nations to reject Chinese illegal and imaginary 9-dash line? But the Indian naval power play in the South China Sea is just the trailer. The real power play is a visit by Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to India to meet Prime Minister Modi. The Modi-Marcos meeting begins just a day after the naval drills on the 4th of August. Prime Minister Modi is boosting India's military and strategic footprint in the South China Sea like never before. The Brahmos sails to Manila were just the start. Up next could be the Akash air defense system. Even Reuters reported how India expects to sign a $200 million export order with Manila this year itself for the indigenous air defense shield. For a long time, India has silently witnessed China arm Pakistan with warships, submarines and fighter jets. Now India will repay in kind by helping friendly ASEAN nations stand up to the regional bully. Let's get into details and see why Modi-Marcos summit is a strategic masterstroke aimed to make India a major player in the ASEAN. Has the Philippines emerged as India's most strategic partner in the region, which is vital for Indian trade and economy? The visit by Philippines President Marcos, at the invitation of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is aimed to expand defense partnership as well as trade ties. The visit comes against the backdrop of Philippines becoming the first nation to buy and deploy the Brahmos missiles to counter any Chinese misadventures. The Indian Air Force had delivered multiple Brahmos batteries to Manila last year under a $375 million deal. Now reports suggest the Philippines wants additional Brahmos missiles to shore up its coastal defenses. The meeting is particularly significant as it coincides with the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. India's relations with the Philippines form an integral part of the Act East policy, Vision Mahasagar, and the vision of the Indo-Pacific. This marks President Marcos's first visit to India since he took office in 2022. Both India and the Philippines share democratic values and historical links, with the foundation of this partnership dating back to 1949, when India and the Philippines first joined hands. Since then, the two countries have developed a strong partnership in various areas, including trade and investment, defense and security, maritime cooperation, agriculture, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, and digital technologies. The two countries also engage at the regional level, including through India's comprehensive strategic partnership with the ASEAN. According to CNBC TV18, bilateral trade between the countries witnessed a hike of 8.6% last year in 2024. Now, leaders from both the sides see this as a golden opportunity to deepen their cooperation on many fronts, including economic, trade, maritime security, defense, and regional security. The Ministry of External Affairs stated, quote, "The visit is an opportunity for both the leaders to set the path for future bilateral cooperation and to engage on regional and international issues of mutual interest." The India-Philippines bilateral partnership has become increasingly important amid global geopolitical shifts and the current world order, particularly due to security concerns in the Indo-Pacific and China's assertive actions, including the militarization of various artificial islands by the PLA in an effort to control some of the world's most vital shipping lanes. $3.4 trillion worth of goods passes through the region each year, along with 40% of global energy transports. New Delhi has also strategic interest to ensure the West Philippine Sea remains free and open to protect its own economic interests. Additionally, there is the US factor as well. The Philippines still has its security alliance with the United States, but Manila is now working to build partnerships with more partner countries to prevent any surprises. Manila's closer cooperation with New Delhi is a good example of this new approach. President Marcos is coming to India with a list of agenda and jam-packed itinerary. During his 5-day visit, he will be accompanied by First Lady Madame Luis Marcos and a large delegation. This group includes cabinet ministers, senior government officials, and leading representatives from Philippines' business sector. Bilateral talks between Marcos and Modi are scheduled for August 5th in New Delhi. Key topics include defense cooperation, trade and investment, maritime security, and other regional developments. And this meeting will set up the path for future collaboration. President Marcos will also meet India's President Draupadi Murmu. As per MEA, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will also call on President Marcos during his visit. While these meetings take place in New Delhi, over in the South China Sea, the Indian Navy and Philippines Navy will hold their first ever bilateral maritime cooperative activity with a focus on enhancing interoperability and maritime cooperation. For the Philippines, Scarborough Shoal is significant because it lies well within its exclusive economic zone as recognized under international law or UNCLOS. The Philippines claims sovereignty based on geography, history, and legal rights, and the area is vital for its fishing communities and national security. Both nations support international law, including the UNCLOS and the 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruling rejecting China's illegal 9-line claims and ruling in favor of Manila. For India, although not a direct claimant, the Scarborough Shoal and the regions around hold geopolitical importance as part of the larger South China Sea security environment. India supports freedom of navigation and respect for international law in this region, which aligns with its Act East policy and the strategic partnership with Philippines. India's growing defense cooperation with the Philippines includes concerns about maritime security and countering assertive actions, especially by China. The Scarborough Shoal witnesses constant jostling between China and Manila, and any one of these incidents could lead to a wider regional conflict. The Philippines largely depends on backing by the US Navy to maintain strategic balance with China. Now, India and the Philippines have significantly strengthened their own maritime security and defense cooperation, especially in 2024 and 25. In July 2025, both the countries also launched their first ever joint naval patrol in the South China Sea. Further institutionalizing their naval cooperation, India and the Philippines signed a Memorandum of Understanding in August 2023 between the Coast Guards to enhance joint enforcement, search and rescue, and maritime pollution response. New dialogues initiated in late 2024 have also expanded cooperation into maritime capacity building, disaster response, intelligence sharing, and environmental protection. India and the Philippines have been steadily growing their economic and trade relations as well. Bilateral trade reached about $3.5 billion in financial year 2023-24. India's exports to the Philippines include pharmaceuticals, engineering goods, automotive components, and chemicals, and over the years, cooperation in these areas have only increased. On the other side, India imports electrical goods, machinery, agricultural products like bananas and coconuts from the Philippines. Trade has been expanding in other key sectors as well, including the IT, renewable energy, and infrastructure, with Indian companies investing roughly $5 billion in the Philippines, especially in IT and business process outsourcing. In 2024, India exported around $2.2 billion worth of products to the Philippines, with pharmaceutical products alone accounting for about $400 million. Imports from Philippines to India include electronics and machinery, have also been rising sharply, with exports reaching over $200 million in May 2025, showing a significant year-on-year increase. But what do you believe? If China continues to arm Pakistan, then should India also boost its defense and economic ties with Philippines and other ASEAN nations? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button, and subscribe to Inconnect News.